Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Sky Striker deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one for you guys because this deck is an extremely powerful deck to play this format that I've included all sorts of spicy tech cards in this build for you guys. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're playing 3 copies of Sky Striker Ace Ray. This card is an amazing 3-of in the build that we use all the time to be able to link summon into all of our Sky Striker Ace link monsters. But this card is extremely important in the deck and basically one of our only main deck monsters. We play a single copy of Sky Striker Ace Rose. Rose is definitely a 1-of as well, and the only other monster we play in this deck. But this card is super important in the build to be able to use with all of our awesome combos, but you really only need a single copy of Rose. So, that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get in to the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Rhoda. Rhoda is an extremely important 1-of in the deck because this card can actually search out your copy of Rose or Ray directly from your deck to your hand, which is so cool. And a single copy of Called by the Grave. Call by the Grave is extremely important as well because this card basically stops your opponent's hand traps where you're going in for all of your plays. And a single copy of Triple Tactics Talent. Triple Tactics Talent is awesome in this build to basically let us draw 2 cards, take control of an opponent's monster, or look at our opponent's hand and choose a card from it and shuffle it into the deck. And a single copy of Harpy's Feather Duster. Feather Duster is great, just dealing with your opponent's back row, and since we play Triple Tactics Thrust in this deck, this card is searchable, so I feel like 1 copy is really good. We play a single copy of Terraforming. Terraforming is great because we actually play 2 different field spells in this build. We play a single copy of Area Zero. Area Zero is great in this deck and just a really good 1-of overall because this card has the ability that you can target 1 other card you control and excavate the top 3 cards of your deck. And if you do, you get to add 1 excavated Sky Striker card from your deck to your hand. Also shuffle the rest back in the deck. Then, if you excavate a Sky Striker card, send the targeted card to the graveyard. And then this card on the field is sent to the graveyard by a card effect. You can actually special summon 1 Sky Striker Ace monster directly from your deck, which is a great ability to be able to use to instantly get your copy of Rose or Ray. We can lay a single copy of Chicken Game. Chicken Game is really good as a 1-of in the build because this card helps us draw cards and it's an awesome field spell to be able to play in this deck. I'm laying a single copy of Hornet Drones. Hornet Drones is really good in this deck to basically just give us a token on our side of the field so we can basically link summon into our awesome cards. I'm laying a single copy of Afterburner. Afterburner is crazy powerful, but I feel like 1 copy is really all you need, because if you control no monsters in the main monster zone, you can target a face-up monster on the field and destroy it, then if you have 3 or more spells in the graveyard, destroy 1 spell or trap on the field. We then play a single copy of Shark Cannon. Shark Cannon is great in this deck as a 1-of, as if you have no monsters in the main monster zone, you can actually target a monster in your opponent's graveyard and banish that monster, or if you have 3 or more spells in the graveyard, you can special summon that monster to your field instead, but it cannot attack. We then play a single copy of Multi-Roll. Multi-Roll is crazy powerful and just such an awesome card, but I feel like 1 copy is really all you need. This card has the ability once per turn, you can actually target 1 other card you control and send that card to the graveyard. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to your spell card's activations for the rest of the turn, even if this card leaves the field. Also, you can gain that a previous effect only once per turn. And once per turn during the end phase, you can actually set Sky Striker spells with different names from your graveyard up to the number of Sky Striker spell cards you activated this turn, while this card was face up on the field, but banish them when they leave the field, which is an incredible ability to be able to use to basically just use this card to recycle some of your Sky Striker cards and also be able to just use this absolutely insane effect to basically just make it so your opponent cannot respond to your Sky Strikers. We then play 2 copies of the Sky Striker Special Maneuver. This card is absolutely incredible in the deck, and I feel like 2 copies is perfect, because this card lets us target an equal number of Sky Striker Ace monsters and Sky Striker spells in the graveyard and shuffle them into the deck. Then for every 3 that we shuffle, you can actually return up to 1 card on the field back to the hand. And if a Sky Striker monster is special summoned to your field while this card's in the graveyard, you can actually banish card and immediately effect results. You get to link summon a Sky Striker Ace Link monster, which is such a powerful ability, but you can only use each effect this card once per turn. This card is so good in the build and just definitely a 2-of in the deck to basically just use this card to recycle your resources while also spot removing cards off the field. We then play 3 copies of Mobilize Engage. Mobilize Engage is one of the most broken cards ever created, and has a really cool ability to let you add a Sky Striker card from your deck to your hand, and also if you have 3 more spells in the graveyard, you get to draw a card, which is such a powerful ability. We then play 3 copies of Linkage. Linkage is crazy good in this deck, as this card has the ability, if you have no monsters in the main monster zone, you cannot special summon from the extract for the rest of the turn after this card resolves, except Sky Striker Ace monsters. Also, you send 1 card that you control to the graveyard other than this card, and if you do, special summon a Sky Striker Ace monster from your extract to your extra monster zone. And if you have at least 1 light and 1 dark Sky Striker Ace monster on the field and are in the graveyard, the summon monster gains 1,000 attack points, making it super easy to OTK your opponent. We then play 3 copies of Widow Anchor. Widow Anchor is definitely a 3-of as well, basically being a monster negate. And if you have 3 or more spells in the graveyard, you can take control of that monster until the end of the turn, which is such a powerful effect. We then play a single copy of MST. MST is great for the small engine we're also playing in the deck, and just really good at helping you pop your opponent's back row. We then play 3 copies of Radiant Typhoon Vision. Vision is so good in this deck because this card basically lets us draw 2 cards, because you draw 2 cards, and if you have a Radiant Typhoon card, quick play spell in the hand, discard 1 of them or your entire hand if you don't. We then play 3 copies of Upstart Goblin. Upstart Goblin is crazy good in this build, and just so cool to be able to play because this card basically lets us draw a card, and our opponent does gain 1,000 life points, but being able to draw that card is so good. We then play 3 copies of Triple Tactics Thrust. Thrust is absolutely insane in this build, and just such a good card to be able to play because this card basically lets us search any of the cards that we need, like Rhoda, Triple Tactics Talent, our copies of Terraforming. You can search out Engage, you can search out Harpy's Feather Duster. This card just has so many insane targets you can be able to get to. It's just a really good 3-of in the build. We then finally play for the last 3 spells. We're playing 3 copies of Forbidden Droplets. Droplets is so good in this deck to basically just use this card to break our opponent's board because it's so good at basically halving the attack points of our opponent's monsters and also negating their effects, which is so good about this card. And it's just a really good 3-of in the build. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get in to the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing 1, and that's going to be a single copy of the Black Goat Laughs. Black Goat Laughs is great as a 1 on the build to basically use your copy of Triple Tactics Thrust, because this card has a great effect that you can actually declare a monster card's name, and this turn, neither player can special summon monsters with that original name, except from the graveyard. You can also banish this card from the graveyard and declare a monster card's name, and this turn, neither player can activate the effects of monsters on the field with that original name, but you can only use 1 effect this card per turn, and only once that turn. But this card is a game-ending card, and a really good card to be able to use if we are going first with Sky Striker to set this card to our side of the field if our opponent does not control a monster, which is just absolutely amazing to set this card to your side of the field and essentially in your opponent's turn depending on what they're playing. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start off with Sky Striker A0. A0 is an amazing 2-of in the build, and I actually considered playing 3 copies of this card, but it's just an amazing 2-of in my opinion. But this card has the ability you can only special summon this card once per turn. It cannot be used as a link material, and if this card is special summoned, you add a Sky Striker spell or from your deck to your hand or your graveyard to your hand, and quick effect, you can actually tribute this card to special summon a Sky Striker Ace Ray and a copy of Sky Striker Ace Rose from your deck and your graveyard, then destroy a card on the field, which is such a powerful ability. We then play 3 copies of Kangari. Kangari is one of the most powerful cards in the entire deck, because if this card is special summon, you can target a Sky Striker spell in the graveyard and add it back to your hand, which is such a powerful effect to instantly grab a card from our graveyard. Plus, this card's ability gains 100 attack for each spell card in the grave. We then played 2 copies of Shizuku. Shizuku is great in this build as a 2-up, and just such a powerful card because this card has the ability that monsters your opponent will lose 100 attack and defense for each spell card in your graveyard, and once per turn during the end phase, if this card was special summoned this turn, you can actually add a Sky Striker spell from your deck to your hand with a different name from the cards in your graveyard. We play a single copy of Hayate. Hayate is great because it can actually attack your opponent directly, and also send a Sky Striker card from your deck to the graveyard. We play a single copy of Kaina. Kaina is really good in the deck as a 1-of, and just a really cool 1-of in the build. And if this card is special summon, you can actually target a face-up monster that your opponent controls, and it cannot attack until the end of your opponent's turn. And each time you activate a Sky Striker spell or effect, you gain 100 life points immediately as effect resolves. Then lay a single copy of Zeke. Zeke is a great 1-of in the build, but I feel like 1 copy is really all you need. This card is great in the deck because if it's Link Summon, you can actually target a face-up monster on the field and banish him until your opponent's next end phase. And once per turn, you can target one other card you control, and this card gains 1,000 attack, then send that card to the graveyard, which is a pretty cool effect. But this card is really good at helping you go in for game. Only a single copy of Zayla. Zayla is crazy good in this deck, and just a really good 1-of overall, as this card requires 2 light and or dark monsters to make this card, and if it's special summon, you can actually target 1 card on the field and destroy it. Then, if you have 3 or less spells in the graveyard, you send this card to the graveyard, and once per turn at the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can banish a spell from the graveyard and destroy that opponent's monster, which is such a powerful ability. I'm going to steal a copy of Access Code. Access Code is great in this deck because it comes out absolutely massive and can pop multiple cards on the field. Play a steal a copy of the Dark Charmer. Dark Charmer is really good in the build overall. It helps you basically link climb. Play a steal a copy of SP Little Knight. SP Little Knight is awesome to use this card as a double interruption. And then finally play a single copy of Typhon. Typhon is great in the build to basically use this card to basically just use it as a skill drain for 3,000 higher attack point monsters and a bounce. It's just a really good card in the build overall, just in case you need it going second. But the cool thing about Access Code as well in the deck is because you have so many different attributes in this build, you can pop so many cards in this deck, which is actually insane. It makes Access Code one of the most powerful cards in the entire X deck to help you in games. So, that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played a Sky Striker deck before, you should definitely give this deck a try, because it's so much fun to be able to play, and it's insane how powerful it is with all of your awesome spell cards to easily control the board and have so much consistency with this deck. So, that's good for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell near so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you guys.